In June, when Nelson Mandela was still recovering from a lung infection in the South African city of Pretoria, several hundred well-wishers marched and sang songs in front of the hospital to honor their anti-apartheid hero. Many were members of the African National Congress. The ANC, as it's called, is the political party that Mandela led to power in South Africa's first free elections in 1994, when he became the country's first black president. Though Mandela had been out of political life for years, naturally the ANC has a long and deep association with him. But his death on December 5th is causing many to wonder what its fate will be now that its symbolic figurehead is gone. Because of his illness, many rally attendees in June were already starting to contemplate life for the ANC after Mandela. Many said they still very much supported the party.
I'm a diehard of ANC, and I'll die in ANC member.
But there are already signs that the ANC is not the party it used to be. Mandela never advocated race-based politicking, but the ANC of late has appeared to be positioning itself as the only true champion of South Africa's black majority. The party has also had little recent success with South Africa's rocky economy, says Patrick McGroarty, a South Africa-based correspondent for the Wall Street Journal who reported from the June rally.
The African National Congress held this rally to support Nelson Mandela as he lay in the hospital. Many questions linger about whether the party that he led to power in 1994 will be able to live up to his legacy and secure the same support that they've always garnered in next year's elections. Unemployment is at 25%, and inequality is actually wider than when he left office.
A sharp portrait of the gap between rich and poor can be seen in the highly affluent enclave of Sandton and its next-door neighbor, the township of Alexandra, also known as Alex, which is one of the poorest areas in Johannesburg. In Sandton, there are high-end hotels, top-tier shops, and ritzy car dealerships. In Alex, just a few miles away, the scene is just as bustling but on a much different economic scale, with street markets, tire vendors, and people selling trinkets on the roadside. From her roadside stand in Alex, food vendor Bernice Legatoti can see over the houses of the township to the office buildings of global corporations clearly visible on the horizon in Sandton. Originally from the southern African country of Lesotho, she's lived in Alex for several years.
When you stay into Sandton, so which means you got a better life. Alexander, I think most is the poor here.
She says she'd like the government to help her with a small business loan. In other parts of South Africa, there are similar stories from people hoping the ruling party of Mandela can provide more help. In the township of Soweto, near a house where the anti-apartheid icon lived, and that's now a museum, Nseti Nkoza talks about wanting the ANC to help spur job opportunities.
There's too much unemployment. Crime is caused by this unemployment, actually.
Some longtime observers say South African President Jacob Zuma of the ANC party is an imperfect vessel for carrying out the work of Nelson Mandela.
Now, the problem with Jacob Zuma, although he's been elected as a party leader, he's been unable to unite the party itself, and he's been unable to unite the country. And we've seen in terms of African leadership, he's been unable to lead in an African context, to unify and bring together other African countries and other African leaders at a very critical moment in African history.
Mr. Zuma is popular among the rural poor and within his own Zulu ethnic group, South Africa's largest, but he's faced a string of scandals and sharp criticism that he's unfit to handle the country's economic issues. Though he once embraced socialism, Mandela banked on open markets and robust foreign investment to lift millions of poor black South Africans out of poverty. But today the ANC and Mr. Zuma's cabinet remain sharply divided between left-leaning social uplift policies and more business-friendly approaches. Experts say Mr. Mandela's passing will likely give the ANC a nostalgia-fueled boost ahead of next year's elections and temper some of the economic anger. But whether the party can forge a viable post-Mandela future and a cohesive economic plan to take advantage of the country's many human and natural resources is still an open question. For the Wall Street Journal, this is Mark Scheffler in Johannesburg, South Africa.
And a salute from Mr. Nelson Mandela, his wife Winnie, greeting the people outside the fences of the Victor Verster prison. That is the man who the world has been waiting to see.